This is Dabu7. Times have been rough, and the price of many things has gone through the roof with inflation, and then the dollar's purchasing power falling apart, all by design. And not only are you seeing store shelves get thin in many areas, but you're seeing the price rise on these goods and products. And your everyday goods that everyone's out there purchasing and needing to feed their families, they're finding out the hard way every time they go back to the store. It's inching up more and more. And again, not only are items sparse and not even there some of the time, like meat sections getting knocked out, the bread aisles getting knocked out. I get images from people and shout outs from people all over the place checking in like, this is what my place is looking like. I retweet this stuff out to let people see and to know what's going on out here in these different areas. And they're talking about a record-setting month for prices here. We're going to be entering into a whole new phase. This seems to be the new theme, that the prices continue to rise, and that's just the way that it is. It's like no stop to it, no end in sight, especially with them clamping off supply chains on the coastlines, all by design. Wiping jobs out, all by design. You know, all this stuff by design, without a doubt. I'm going to dive into this further on the live streams. It's where I can speak freely. Join me over there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And hit that subscribe button here for more. This has been Dabu7. Much love, y'all.
Learn about crypto and get paid as you learn with Coinbase Earn.
All right, shalom. Shalom.
We've paid out.
All right, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yahweh Kakodash, Yahweh, which is the one and true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one and true name is Yahweh Shai. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am Mashiach Arazakah from the tribe of Gad, coming through the spirit. And pretty much, this is basically what is going on right now. I don't know what title I'm going to have. And I got to be really careful what I say, because I got a strike on my channel. On Mashiach Arazakah, the main channel. I got a strike on that channel. So I got to really be careful what I say and what I teach doing this video. So pretty much, man, there's a global food price set, all right, which means the prices of food are increasing. They're going from, let's say for a slab of chicken is going from $5 to $34. All right. Prices for food is increasing on a high level. All right. Plus the shelves are empty. All right. There's more shelves coming empty in different states in America. All right. And there's a lot of things that's taking place here in this society. All right. And we're just going to read off of his description box. Now, I want to get to the main point of what he was saying. As a matter of fact, I'll read up to the top. It says, what's noteworthy is that inflation isn't hitting everyone equally. It says lowest income folks feel that pinch the most. Joseph Schmidhumber, deputy director for markets and trade at the FAO, it says, told Bloomberg high energy costs and high food costs and high necessities. It says they account for a large part of their overall expenditures. It says rising prices of food of goods, Salakia, rising prices of goods, Salakia, and services have rocked inflation to its highest level in 40 years. It says the Biden administration has vowed to tackle the inflation monster, but it appears prices for food, energy, and shelter continue to rise ahead of midterms. Inflation in widespread and its hittings of his hittings the poorest and hardest, because it's affecting the poor. All right, because you have a thing in this society. It has the poor, it has the middle class, and then it has, it goes up. Once you middle class, then it has people above them, but it's affecting mostly the poor. The middle class is starting to feel it too, though. The middle class is starting to feel, this, you know, this problem here, man, of the food shortages, the money finances is hitting the middle class. So between the poor and the middle class, it's bugging people out, you know. It says in the last 2 years, the price of the agricultural products has risen sharply. This is the reminiscent of 2007 and 2011, and new highs in food prices could be reached later this year. Right, so this is the time that we are coming into. All right, the time of inflation. All right, Jacob's trouble. Now I'm trying to be careful what I say because I don't want to get a strike. So, a lot of food shortages is basically occurring across, all right, Babylon, you know, and the prices of food is increasing. Certain shelves is empty with meats and etc. It's a scarce going on. But there's a thing called man-made famine. There's a thing called man-made famine, and I'm gonna get that out now. When I go into Google, it's gonna mute out my microphone, so you ain't gonna be able to hear me. So, brothers, when I go into it, just read what it says, okay? And then we'll just go back to the video. But Salakia for. Now, those are man-made famines. If you read that, those are man-made famines, and that's what Esau is doing right now. So I'm gonna go into some scriptures, and one scripture I want to get out is let me get that out. Jeremiah 30 and verse 5. It says, "For thus saith the Lord." Anytime you see Lord in caps, it's talking about the Heavenly Father Yahweh. "We have heard a voice of trembling of fear and not of peace." Verse 6. It says, "Ask ye and know, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his lions as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness." Right? That paleness is feeble and weak. All right? Feeble and weak. Now, when you go to travail, men don't travail with child. Only women travail with child. And that word travail means pain, suffer pain or painful efforts. That's what travail means. Only a woman travails. But mainly it's going into feeble and weak, because people are starting to see the things that are going on with the food supply chain. In these stores, You can walk into a store, you see the meats and there's like nothing there. The whole shelves racks are empty. That started to turn light bulbs on for a lot of Jakes out there. A lot of light bulbs is starting to turn on in their brain, and it's starting to have them be curious on what's going on. All right. Once a certain amount of people start understanding that this isn't just late deliveries, because that's what we so like that's what Jake thinks. Jake, they'll think, oh well, the deliveries are probably short, probably coming in late and things like that. No, it's bigger than that. It's other things going on. But once people start to speculate things, and they start to see the things that is unusually happening, it's gonna start bugging people out. So now people are gonna start doing what they were doing in the first pandemic. They're gonna start, people gonna start grabbing more than what they need to grab. People gonna start buying all this food to start to stack up, because that's what Jake does. When they start to see something unusually happen for a while, it starts to make people anxious and it starts bugging people out. And this is the time that we're coming into. So all that gym you guys are doing, working out in the gym, because you got Jake going to the gym, getting super muscular, huge. I'm talking about, trying to be bodybuilder type status. It ain't gonna mean nothing in the time of Jacob trouble if you ain't got your How About Shai with you. All right? Because people think that size matter, but it doesn't. All right? The Lord could put the spirit on the scrawniest dude, and he can mess you up in that time. You can have 24-inch arms. You could look like Phil Heath, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could look like freaking Batista. You could look like Brock Lesnar, Ryback. I'm just naming huge dudes as an example. You could look like Cali Muscle. It don't matter about that. If you ain't got your How About Shai with you, the Lord can put the spirit on the scrawniest dude and he can knock you out. So size don't mean nothing. Because you got a lot of Jakes believing that. Size don't mean nothing. Verse 7, it says, Alice for that day is great, so there's none like it. This is about to be a global food shortage. Let's read the topic of what Dabu 7 said. All right. It says, get ready for global food prices to set new records. Meaning what? The food is going scarce. So now they're putting an increase of inflation on the slabs of meat, of chicken, steaks, ribs, ground beef, etc. So you're going to see a huge inflation on the food supply chain. It's going to go from right now, where I'm at. Food is probably like for a slab of steaks is like $17, $18. But in other states, slabs of meat is like $34. In Virginia, I think it was Virginia. I seen a brother share something of Virginia, and for a slab, I'm talking about one simple slab of steak, was like $234 for that slab of steak, that one slab, not a box, one simple slab, a slab of meat that's usually like $9. That mug was like $234. So that's letting you know the time that we're coming into. All right, that's that famine of food, the famine of water, man. Water is going to start increasing too. It ain't there yet, but it's gonna come to a time the prices for water is gonna inflate as well. All right. It says verse 7. This is Jeremiah 30:7. Alice for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob trouble, because that's the time we're coming into. All right. This is gonna be a global thing. A global thing. All right. This ain't just happening in just this state, that state. It's happening in many different states. All right. This is leading into a new currency. All right, the digital currency. Now I'm not gonna try to say too much, because I don't want to get a strike on this channel, But this is the time we're coming into, man. That's why you got all these snake venom things going on, man. People are losing their jobs, etc. It's letting you know what time we're coming into. Verse 7, Alice for that day is great, so there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And that's talking about the elect, the he, all right, which we are hoping to be. But while we're here, we got to, endure through Jacob's trouble, as the scriptures tells us to. And I got a precept. This is Matthew 24:13. And this is what Yahushua said, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same should be saved. So you got to endure through this. All right. And that word endure, it means to suffer. So you got to be able to we got to be able to deal with this. And you're going to be tried on your faith in that time. You know, I don't know if I'm going to be around in that time, Lord willing, to endure through it. But you as an Israelite, you got to be able to endure through that time. All right. You got to increase yourself on the faith. And you're going to have faith. All right. Just walking around being over righteous, wearing fringes on your head, wearing fringe t-shirts everywhere you go, that's not going to save you. All right. That's not going to save you. Your faith is what's going to save you. And you better be working on your spirit so you can, Lord willing, receive salvation. Because the time that we're going to come into is going to be hard times. Very hard times. Just like I was at camp with the elder Karatazar and the brothers, just fellowshipping, taking notes and stuff. But the elders and brothers were saying, man, you're gonna be tried, Your woman, not being able to eat, gonna be nagging your ear off, You come to the house, you out there, making money as best way possible. You come home and your woman is gone with your kids, leaving you. And you stuck there like, oh damn, she just left and took the kids. But these are the things that we're gonna go through. And you got to be able to handle that type of situation, not having no lights, no food, Because once a woman start going hungry, they start bugging out. Women can't deal with being afflicted. It starts bugging them out. They start bugging out, They start bugging out. That's what happens. And, you got to be able to handle that and endure that. And continually pray to the Lord. Because just like what Elder Karatza was saying at camp yesterday, you don't want to fall out because your woman fell out. You don't want to sell out because your woman sell out. You got to have the strength to be able to endure that. And that's something that I would want for myself, Lord willing, Yahweh Shemashai, is to, even if I was an individual to go through all of these things that are due to come, I pray that the Lord keeps me in the same spirit I am in now. So I want to continue to serve the Lord, man. I want to get to that finish line, Lord willing, But these times are coming. Hard times is coming. You got to be able to endure it. I got a precept. This is Micah 2:10. Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This place called America is not your rest. Don't treat it like your rest. Don't try to be an entrepreneur trying to make 150,000. You trying to be a millionaire. This isn't the time for that because it is polluted. This place is polluted with philosophies, all right, wickedness. This place is exceedingly polluted. It says it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction, right? You will be destroyed resting here. You treating this place as your rest, you're going to be caught up on an unawares to be destroyed. And you don't want to be that individual. All right. You don't want to be that individual. This is Isaiah 24. And I'll start at verse 10. This is Isaiah 24:10. It says the city of confusion is broken down. Who is this talking about? Babylon the Great. This place called America. Because when you go into that word Babel, it means confusion. The great confusion. It says the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. Because this is going into martial law. When you read in the scriptures of 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, it says a man shall have desire to go into the city and shall not be able. You're not going to be able to go into the city. All right. The military is going to be on the scene. The police is going to go. 911 is going to go out of business. All right. And that's the time that we're coming into, especially when the uproars of this society takes place, of the so-called citizens. People gonna bug out. They're gonna take matters into their own hands. It's gonna be straight chaos out here. Verse 11, it says, there is a crying of wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. Right, all joy is darkened. People is bugged out right now. People have lost their jobs due to not taking the snake venom. All right, people have got fired for refusing to take the snake venom. So much stuff has happened. People have lost their homes. All right. Businesses have collapsed. It's a lot of things that have been affecting people in the community. All right. And people can't handle that. People got kids, etc. It says all joy is darkened. All joy has darkened due to the pandemics, all the stimulus checks, things like that. The joy of this society has darkened. People can't really do anything. To get on a flight, you gotta be snake venom. It says the merit of the lands is gone. Verse 12. In the city is left desolation. It says, and the gate is smitten with destruction. And this is what is getting ready to take place. That's why you don't want to be a Jake to be living your life lavish here. This is not our kingdom. This is not our rest. All right. There's things going on throughout the earth, and this place has to be destroyed. All right. So Yahushua can come back. And if you're a Jake that's loving it here and that's treating this place as your rest, you're going to be destroyed. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to be destroyed because you had time to get right and you didn't do what you was supposed to do when you had the time, because we're in a temporary grace period. This is not forever. All right. You want to be doing the things of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. All right. You want to repent and you want to come out of this society. You don't want to be a Jake to be in the midst and then being destroyed. Jeremiah 51:1. Thus saith the Lord. Anytime you see Lord in caps, talking about the Heavenly Father Yahweh, behold, I will rise up against Babylon. Babylon is this place called America. All right. It says, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And this is what is going into the thermonuclear missiles. Verse 2. And I shall send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. These foreign countries. All right. Salakia. These foreign countries are going to go to war with this place called America. Verse 30, it says, against them that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. All right. Who is the archer? Archer is a person that creates a nuclear missile and that launches it. That's an archer. It says, and against him that lifteth himself up in the braggadine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Verse 4, thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, talking about Esau, and they that are thrust through in her streets. Verse 5, for Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah for his power of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Verse 6, now people read this and they think it means to actually flee out, but this is talking about spiritually. Verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon, spiritually, your mind, all right, and deliver every man his soul. It says, be not cut off in her iniquity. It's talking about spiritually, because 2/3 of mindset of our people, they're embedded in the ways of this society and they're refusing to come out of it. All right, they're not fleeing spiritually. All right, it says, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Lord's vengeance. Because this is the time we're coming into, the Lord's vengeance, man. It says, he will render unto her recompense. And that word recompense, it means to repay. All right. Verse 7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. It says, therefore the nations are mad. And the wine is the earth is drunken, meaning of philosophies. All right. Verse 8, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country. And these are what these foreigners is doing. These foreigners from these other countries came into America. They got their degrees. They set up their businesses. They started owning property in certain areas. Once the pandemic came, because you even had these foreigners, they own liquor stores, they own properties, etc. They made all the value of the money here in this society. Once the pandemic came in here, they started taking all their money that they made, of all the profit that they made in this place called America, and they took it and they went back home. That's what a lot of these foreign countries is doing. These foreigners is doing. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Verse 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our power. So these are, this goes on more, but I just want to get to the main point. These are the things that's taking place. All right. And if you a jig that don't pay attention to the things that is taking place around you, you're going to be asked out. All right. You're going to be asked out. And this is a precept. Matter of fact, I'll go to second address real quick. Salakia. Go to second address real quick. This is second address. This is second address. 15. The second address 15, and I'll start at go to the main point. Verse 14. Salakia. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And that word woe means warning or destruction. Salakia. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition. Now, I'll go into the blue letter. I mean, not blue letter. The sedition. This is what sedition means, for edification's sake. All right, I got it in blue like this for a reason. Here we go. It says sedition, Salakia. Salakia. I'll just read it like this. Sedition. It says rebellion, uprising, revolt, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between faction, civil or religious disorder, riot, rebelliousness against authority. And that's what sedition means. So when you go into sedition, it's going into the uproars. There's a precept also going to second address 9 and 1 through verse 4, going into those uproars. And this is what is going to get ready to take place when this place starts to fully collapse. All right, people are going to take matters. So like people are going to take matters into their own hands. And this is what it's going into. Second address 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. It says, therefore shall be sedition among men, evading one another. They shall not regard their princes, nor regard their kings, nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Meaning they're not going to obey this society. They're not going to follow rules in this society. People are already starting to not do that. That people are going to make their own obstacles for themselves. Especially when the time comes of people not having no food or no light service, no internet, you can't get no water. That's when the citizens is going to stand, the so-called citizens, I'm just using that as an example. People are going to stand up and they're going to riot against this society. And that's when it's going to go into permanent martial law. Verse 17, here it goes here. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, because that's the time that it's going to come into. Right now, we're in the beginning stages of it. High beginning stages. All right? Very beginning. All right? But when stuff really starts to hit the fan, so that's when things are going to really get the way they get. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And this is the time that we're coming into. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. Because everybody's saying that they got day ones and they got best friends. Well, your best friends are going to betray you because they got families, they got kids that they got to feed. So you're going to be there to help them and give them this amount of food. They're going to take that, but they're not going to be grateful with the amount of food that you gave them. So they're going to come back and they're going to rob you and take all your food. And they're going to say, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And I gotta survive. I got a family, and that's what's going to happen to you. Your neighbor, your best friend, your day one, whoever is out there, they gonna rob you and they're going to take all your food. So this is the time that we're coming into. So long story short, what should you be doing? Starting to get prayed up. All right. Start being prayed up.
So President Joe Biden's been in office.
All right. Start being prayed up. All right. Start praying. Start going on fasts. Start fasting. And start praying more, because it's going to and be more in the scriptures, because it's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to do any of that. You're not going to be able to eat. That's what I mean by ain't going to be able to do any of that. You ain't going to be able to just go and get you a quick meal to eat at, Jack in the Box, or a quick meal. You can go to the store and quickly grab something. You ain't going to be able to do that in that time. The Lord might have it that you go 6-7 months without eating. All right? A long time without eating, but you got to have the faith to know that the Lord, that's what's going to be the challenging part. Like the elders and brothers said, the brothers at GMS Las Vegas, like they were saying, that's what's going to be the challenge, But if you have the stable mind to be able to still trust in the Lord and just say, look, we got these scriptures, and you just reading those scriptures, and you're building your spirit up. Your spirit's not going to be hungry physically. It's going to gravitate to the spiritual food, and you ain't going to be hungry. But you got to have the faith. You got to be able to persuade yourself in this truth, because hard times is coming, man. But long story short, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Give all honors, glory, praise to Yahweh B'Shem Shai, B'Shem Kakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. So, hey, man, inflation is due to come. So my last question before I end this video is, do you have the faith? Have you been in the scriptures? All right. And have you been fasting? So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. Till next time I say, shalom.